Testing, testing. Can you hear me go? Can you hear me all right? Can you hear me fine? Let me know in the chat. Just got finished with technical difficulties, but after a good 30 minutes, finally got it working here. I tried hooking everything up to my other computer, but that was not such a good idea, so I had to hook everything back up to my other computer that I've been doing live streams on. But anyways, greetings. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you for attending and signing up and dedicating yourself to a higher level of achievement, of focus, right? Because really we can't get anything done if we don't have focus and discipline, especially if we're trying to do something different than what we're used to doing. So in this video, it's just going to be a short video. I'm going to be teaching and talking a little bit about focus, right? I'm going to deliver digestible pieces of information that you can apply to your life right away so you can get results, because that's what this is all about, getting results. All right. Um, yeah, this is going to be different. All right. And I'm probably going to take it down after a while. So please absorb what I'm saying here and apply it to yourself, because I'm not just talking, I'm giving you advice that works. Today's video is going to cover creating a schedule for yourself that works. All right. And I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going to read for an hour today. I'm reading an hour tomorrow at 6 o'clock. No, 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 no. This is going to be something that is customized to you specifically so that you can accomplish having a book finished in, somewhere roughly around the ballpark of 2 weeks. All right. That may not sound too huge, but honestly, how many books do you read in a month? Right. So imagine if you could read 2 books in a month. That would be a massive improvement for you. You know, for a lot of you out there, and I was there at a point not long ago, maybe a year or two or three ago, not a year, maybe 2, 3 or 4 years ago. I was at that point too, where I'm buying books on Amazon and I'm reading a couple pages, then I'll buy another one and I read a couple pages and I'm not finishing anything. I'm not making any progress, any headway. That sucks, right? You want to finish these books. That's why you buy them, because something about the book, you want that information. You want it within you. You want it absorbed. All right. Otherwise, you're just collecting and you're just dabbling. And while that may appear like you're making progress, you know damn well you're not making any progress. The only progress being made is the size of the stack of books on your table or on your shelf that you say you're reading, but you know you're not. All right. So after this video, all that's changed. All that has changed. All right. So today we're going to work on building a schedule customized to you. And what we're going to break down is how much you read and when you're going to do it. All right. So again, welcome to everybody in the chat. Thank you guys for joining this challenge. Thank you for taking part. Um, this is really the first time I've ever really done anything like this, so it's not exactly organized, but we're going to get it done. Trust and believe we're going to get it done. So let's see. Dealing with the schedule, the whole point of this, the whole point of focus, concentration, and discipline and achieving anything is setting clear goals. All right. So the first part of this is about setting clear goals for yourself. If you don't know what you're doing or why you're doing it, you're just flopping around like a fish out of water, right? Breathing in oxygen when you should be breathing in water. So let's get the atmosphere right for the creature that inhabits the atmosphere. So check it out. The first thing you want to determine is, number one, what book you want to read. Look at how many pages are in it. Then you want to figure out how many books you can read, how many pages you can read per session, right? And of course, you add it all up and divide. Okay, if this book has 200 pages in it and I only read X amount of pages in a day, it's going to take me this many days to read. All right, so this is how you're able to do a full book in 2 weeks. So check it out. What I've been practicing lately is called the Pomodoro technique. Pomodoro. I'll spell it in the chat in case you missed that. All right. So that's the Pomodoro technique. And by the way, greetings everybody. Greetings Amar. Greetings Stuffed Dog. Greetings Matthew Watson. Tyler Leona Dreyer. Greetings Serious Suit 888. Greetings Gemma Thorne. Peace, peace. Lahiri, good to see you. Xavier Sheffer, babe. Greetings, greetings. Yeah, a lot of people. All right, appreciate you guys. Okay, so yeah, let's get to work here. Let's get this thing done. So the Pomodoro technique is something that I've been practicing to see if I can implement it into my routine and if it actually gives me benefits. I've been testing out two different ways, and the longer way actually works for me. Usually, when I tackle something, I like to keep at it. I like to keep grinding, and I don't like to take breaks. I like to dig in and not stop until I'm done. Whereas some people, they like to go a bit and then take a break, go a bit and take a break. So this is all about finding what works best for you. There's no such thing as a one size fits all formula. That's you know, that sounds good, but that's not true. There's at least four different types of people, right? Dealing with the four elements. So you got to find what kind of person you are, what style you are at this particular thing. Air style, water style, fire style, earth style. If we're dealing with the Ayurveda, there's three types, right? That combine the elements. So check this out. The Pomodoro technique in simple is you want to do 25 minutes of straight reading and then you take a 5-minute break. So you set the timer, right? You lock your phone, you put it away, or you put music on. There's even Pomodoro technique YouTube videos. And that's actually what this was gonna be these Sundays of me just doing the Pomodoro technique, you watching me study. But I figured that might be a bit boring and you could get more out of this type of thing. So the first type of Pomodoro technique, and decide if this is how you want to do it, is reading for 25 minutes. Then you take a 5-minute break doing something completely different, nothing related to your book. And then after that 5 minutes is up, you jump back on it, 25 minutes, and you take a break. So that makes an hour right there. Typically, you want to do this in a 2-hour session. So you block out 2 hours of your time. You do the 25 minutes, 5-minute break, another 25 minutes, 5-minute break, and you do that 4 times so that you reach 4 hours. Usually, what they found is that that's how long a person can do it and still retain what they've read, right? Still maintain a good level of focus for 2 hours. Because after that 2 hour period, if you want to continue doing it like that, you want to take a longer break, like 30 minutes, just to kind of recharge and refresh. So that's one way to do it. The other style Pomodoro technique that I prefer to do so far, just because I work that way, not because it's better or worse, is a little bit longer. The 50 minutes of pure study and then 10 minutes of a break. Then you do another 50 minutes of pure study and then 10 minutes of a break. So that makes 2 hours, right? So if that, what I've been finding so far has been one of the best ways for me to just kind of keep track and dedicate that time to study, as opposed to just, I'm going to study, pick up a book and go at it. While that works if you have the discipline, some of us need some other parameters to work within. So I would recommend trying this Pomodoro technique for the duration of this focus challenge. So choose if you want to do the 25 and 5 or the 50 and 10. It's up to you. Experiment with both like I did to find which one works best. Because the big part of this challenge is to read 8 hours a week. Me, I'm doing 8 hours a day. If you can do 8 hours a day, go for it. But 8 hours a week is going to get, let me make sure I got this camera straight. Yeah. 8 hours a week is what's going to get you that's the routine that I think would be best to start with to really knock out some of these pages and to transform your life. I say transform your life because you're adding a new routine of study and focus. And if you're adding and dedicating that time on a consistent basis, you are guaranteed to start having some different results in life. We've all got plans and dreams and goals and whatnot. And if we're not dedicating that amount of time to making those dreams a reality, they're going to keep getting further and further away from us. We're going to keep making excuses of why we didn't do it. And to be quite honest, I'm so tired of that. I'm just changing my camera here. Still got to give you that second part, so please bear with me. Goodness gracious. What's up, Awakened Grace? Good to see you. Al Dickey, peace. Society Ejects, good to see you, bro. All right, let me make sure this thing is correct. Yes, it is. All right. So now we've got that format in place, the Pomodoro technique. So we're going to do 25 and 5 or 50 and 10. So work with both of those. And the next thing that we want to do at this point is you want to find out how many pages you can read in an hour. So when you're sitting down doing this Pomodoro technique, after each, what I did was after each little block of study, I wrote down how many pages I read, right? So again, take away any stress, take away any type of expectations that might be a bit too big, right? This is all about just analyzing where you are. Because another great thing about this type of challenge is by the end of it, you're going to see growth. So while you may start with 10 pages an hour, you can double that if you stay consistent because this is a skill, right? This is a skill. And the more you practice the skill, the better you get at it. So you may start with 10 pages in an hour. That's fine. That's great. Nothing wrong with that. That's 10 more pages than you would have read, right? So when you're doing the Pomodoro technique, calculate how many pages you're reading per hour. All right, this is going to be a big thing. So from this point forward, make sure you're doing this. How many pages you're doing in an hour? Even if you know what I'm saying you're already reading and stuff, I still recommend doing this because what is measured is managed. If you're paying attention to how many pages you're reading, now you have something to compete against. Um, I've got one of those clicker things, and I click just to kind of keep track of how many pages I read in a day. You can do it that way if you need some tactile sensation, or you can just write it down. Either way, measure it because what is measured is managed. If you measure it, that means that you can improve it. That means you can work at it. You feel me? Apollo Soul, greetings. All right. So, of course, by calculating how much you read in an hour, you can start to add it up and calculate how much you can read in a week, then in a month, right? Looking at a book, it looks like this big daunting task, but when you break it down into small manageable pieces, now you can manage how quickly you can get it done. So while a book may look like this big thick pages of things, right, 200 pages, if you break it down at 10 pages an hour, now you know how many hours it's going to take to read that book. It becomes less daunting the more you break this thing down. Okay, so when I started, I was reading 12 pages an hour. Now let's say I got a book that is 200 pages long. At first glimpse, oh shit, this is huge, right? But let's say I read 12 pages an hour, right? Because that was where I started when I was trying this technique out. So 12 pages an hour. What I would recommend here with these 8 hours is if you're like me and you can knock out 8 hours in a day, by all means go for it. But otherwise, I would say, you got 2 off days, read for 2 hours on each of those off days. That's 4 hours. Then pick 4 hours during 4 days during the week to read for just 1 hour. That's 8 hours right there. So if you work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and you read an hour on each of those days, that's 4 hours knocked out. Then you got 2 hours on Saturday, you're off. 2 hours on Sunday, you're off. That's your 8 hours. That's your 8 hours. So check this out. If you read 12 pages an hour, if you're off days, you're going for 2 hours. That's 24 pages per off day. So that's 48 pages right there, right? If you add in the 4 days that you read for an hour, you're going to knock out 96 pages. That's 100 pages in a week. You see where I'm going with this? So in 2 weeks' time, because, the typical book that I have is about 200 pages. In 2 weeks' time, you have knocked out a full book. In 4 weeks, in a month, that's 404 pages, 404. You can read 2 books or a big fat ass book in a month. You see where I'm going with this? So that's the whole first part of the equation for this focus challenge. What's measured is managed. Use the Pomodoro technique. Just try it out. You might love it or you might hate it. Either way, you don't know until you try it. But I recommend trying it for this next few weeks that we're doing this challenge, right? Calculate how many pages you read in an hour. That's the first assignment. That's the first assignment. Figure out how much you read in an hour. And then on your off days, read for 2 hours. And throughout the week, read for 1 hour. Now you can manage and figure out how fast and how much you can read. All right. Is that understood? Does everybody got that? Give me something in the chat to let me know that that sounds like something you can do. Let me know if that's something you can do. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Trinity, peace. What's good, Curve? Naturally natured, peace. All right. Society Ejects asks, so what do we do if we finish the 2 books before the 60 days is up? Pick you 2 more. The point of this is to start to develop a routine so that you can get more accomplished, right? Because you can take these skills and not only apply them to books, but also apply them to other things you got going on. For example, if you're studying a new craft or you want to get better at something, you can work 2 hours on your off days and an hour a day during the week. Because here's the thing, if you're living a life where you're stuck in a fucked up job that you hate and you have dreams that you have no time to work towards, this is exactly what I did to go from working at that funky ass job that I hated to no longer having to work there anymore, right? I took um I used to walk to work because my car was fucked up, right? On my way to work, I was reading. On my lunch breaks, I was reading. After work, before work, I was reading. So I took the free time that I had and I applied it. Not only reading, I was also studying. I was studying different things that I wanted to do. And in those hours that I spent on my off time, I was able to transition, right? I was able to build something to support me so that when I got fired from my job, I didn't have to struggle. I just fell right into what I took the time to build. So if you've got dreams, if you got plans, if you got goals and something that you're trying to do, if you finish the 2 books, now you've created a routine for yourself to where you're investing in yourself, right? This isn't just 8 hours in a week to keep busy. This is about investing in yourself to transform your life, to become something better, to do something better, right? If you enjoy going to work at a job that you don't like, if you enjoy just fucking around all day, then by all means keep doing that. But if you want something better for yourself, if you want to do something more than what you're doing, this is an opportunity to start to develop a habit of dedicating the time to doing that, right? This is good stuff. This is good stuff. I'm telling you. I know it is because I've done it. And not only did I do it and just chill and kick back and play Fortnite all day, I'm still finding ways to get better at this, to squeeze more juice out of my time and my hours. Yeah, I fuck around on social media, but when I'm not on this phone chit-chatting with y'all, I'm working. I'm reading, I'm recording, I'm editing, I'm studying, I'm developing myself because there's still places I want to go and I will get there. And you can get there too, but you got to put in the time, the effort, and the work. All right. So, what we just talked about was keeping track of how much you read within an hour and then calculating how many pages that you can read in a week's time, in 2 weeks' time, in a month, and keeping that up and keeping that up. All right. So let's get to this next part that I really want to talk about, which is the peak hours, right? The peak hours of your day. Everybody's got peak hours. You'll notice if you pay attention to yourself, because all of manifested reality has to do with patterns and cycles. And if you pay attention to the patterns and cycles, you'll learn so much about yourself and nature in reality, right? You don't have to study, well, it behooves you to study books about yoga philosophy. But before books about yoga philosophy was written, they weren't reading books about yoga. They were studying and analyzing nature. And the more that you study, the more that you know what to look for, right? Because if you just jump into this for the first time, you don't know what you're looking for. But as you continue down the path, your vision becomes sharper and more focused. That's what this is about, focus. The more you're in it, the more you learn what to pay attention to. The more that you pay attention to nature and cycles and patterns, the more that you can start to carve out a better way for yourself. So when I talk about peak hours, I'm talking about that time in your day when you reach maximum energy. All right. Everyone has a high point and everyone's got a low point. At some point in the day, the opposite happens. You're done. You're pooped. You're wiped out. All you want to do is kick back, maybe watch Netflix or maybe, play video games or whatever. But you want to pay attention to your patterns. You want to find out what it is. You're not a Superman. I'm not a Superman. I mean, I'm kind of super, but none of us are freaking Cal El. You're going to have a high point and a low point. Now, what makes us super is managing that, figuring out what your high point is and doing the work at the high point, figuring out what your low point is and maximizing your relaxation and your pleasure, right? Don't do your pleasure at your high point and don't do your work at your low point. That doesn't make sense. You're not going to get the most out of it. Okay. So personally, I'm not, I'm chaotic. All right. I'm not talking about a schedule where it's like, oh, at 5 o'clock, I do this. At 7 o'clock, I did. No, I have never been able to do that. Don't want to. I don't have any plans to do that. All right. I don't stick by a schedule like that. When I talk about what are your three top values, my top value is freedom. Freedom. I don't like time. Me and Tom don't get along like that. Right. So I never stick to a schedule, even if I try, even at the threat of being fired, even at the threat of being kicked out of school, even at the threat of, you know, in the Navy, right? When I was in the military, you had to be punctual. I couldn't even do it then. It got to a point where I accidentally found a loophole where they couldn't punish me because I wasn't late enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, it must be something psychological. I don't know. But, anyways, I don't follow a schedule like that. What I'm talking about is figuring out your body's natural rhythm, right? So, me personally, I'm a night owl. I don't do the daytime. When the sun is up, I'm asleep, vampire style. So really, I wake up around like midnight, But it just so happens, when I play Fortnite or Apex, that's when my people are on. My online friends, my gaming friends, they're usually on around midnight, right? That's when I wake up. It also happens that my high point is right when I wake up. So what I found was, as soon as I woke up, I jumped on the game. Hee hee ha ha. We're playing. We're getting some dubs or some L's more often than not. And afterwards, I go to study. And yeah, I got stuff done. Yeah, I got pages read. But I was going towards my low period, right? So I noticed that hour after hour, the distractions began to pile up. Hour after hour, I became less focused. Hour after hour, I was not getting as much done as I really could have. So knowing that my high point is exactly when I woke up, and also knowing that 12 o'clock roughly was when all my friends were on Xbox Live, something's got to change. If what I want is growth and an increase in my focus, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the first change I tried to do was the whole Puritan route. Gave up Xbox, no video games, just pure focus, pure study, nothing but study. Now, it was either that or adjust my schedule. So I tried the first way first. All right. And what ended up happening was, yeah, I got a lot done. I got my highest page count read. I want to say like I read maybe 200 pages in a day. I don't know, 250. I read a lot in a day. And I kept hitting those numbers because, like I said, I had the little clicker to kind of click by with each page that I read. I was hitting high numbers, but I was not fulfilled or satisfied. I missed gaming. I missed, having fun. I don't really go out. I don't go out at all, right? I don't go to. It's Corona time now, but I never really went to clubs and shit. So I wasn't really getting any kind of fun, and that was kind of draining in itself because I wasn't having an outlet to do something different than work, right? My whole day was consisting of studying and being magical and mystical all day long, right? I got a lot of work done, but on the inside, it was making me restless and I wanted to do something else. And what happened was a drastic shift. Now I'm fucking around all day long, right? I was not studying because my body was needing to express itself. in a way that didn't have to do with work. So I ended up wasting time in the long run. Now, what I ended up doing was changing my schedule. If I know that my peak hours was as soon as I woke up, I also knew that I woke up at 12. And I also knew that at 12 was when all my homies were on Xbox. I decided to wake up early. I changed my schedule. I shifted back 4 hours and began to wake up at 8. And what I did was I woke up immediately. I started doing my mantras, started doing my meditations, right when I woke up. And I went straight into studying, straight into, going through my notes and doing my work. Now, what I found was when 12 o'clock hit, it felt even better. I felt like I earned it. I felt like I accomplished a lot of work beforehand. And then when I got on the Xbox, it felt good. I could relax more because, yeah, I got a lot done and I was able to enjoy it. It was like a reward. And what I come to find out is that I got twice as much work done. Why? Because I got my work done during my peak hours when I first woke up, and then I went to go play. And then I was so excited and so accomplished that I wanted to keep working. Right after all my friends started tagging out and falling asleep, I still wanted to do some more study. So I ended up getting twice as much done. I studied before the gaming, took a break to game, and studied a lot afterwards. So that's what I mean by your peak hours. Find out when you are at your highest energy. Some people are like me, and as soon as you wake up, you got the most energy, and it kind of declines throughout the day. Some people, they're really groggy and slow when they wake up, and it takes a long ass time. You got to have that coffee first, right? Then you reach your peak, and then it goes down. And some people, those of you who have kids, right, especially very young kids, understand that they get really wild and rowdy when it's bedtime, right? Some people, they reach their peak towards the end of the day. I don't know how y'all do it, but y'all exist. Some people are able to carry that over into their adult years. The whole point is to figure out what your pattern is, what your cycle is. And you want to maximize on your high point and utilize that time for study. Utilize that time for study. That's when you got the most energy in a 24-hour period. Use that time for study. You might find that you're going to read more than 10 to 12 pages a day. Now that number turns into 24 pages an hour, or excuse me, a session. So now how much are you reading? Now you're reading a book in a week. You feel me? Yes. So find your high point. Work during your high point. All right. So then the question comes, thanks, Trav. But some of us have to go to work. What if I work during my high period? What if I'm at the job during my high period? My high period is as soon as I wake up, but I got to work as soon as I wake up. So what do I do then? All right. Well, here's now where we go back to what I was saying about everybody's got 2 days off. Oh, look at that. Saucy Seer says my peaks at the end of the day. See, I mean, y'all are rare, but y'all exist. So utilize that. It's probably easiest for you. By the time you're ready to go to bed, you can just pop open that book, sit down, and get going. Then you can go to sleep with all that hot stuff on your subconscious mind. So you probably got it the best. But anyways, everybody's got 2 days off, right? Everybody's got 2 days off. So on those 2 days off, you don't have to spend the whole day cramming and studying or reading. You don't have to do that. You don't have to spend 8 hours. Remember to be realistic here. You want to set reachable goals. You want to clearly define the goals, right? So just do 2 hours a day. That is not hard. Take your off day, find your peak, and then study for 2 hours. Record how much you're able to get done, right? Now, on the days that you work, again, keep in mind what your peak is. If your peak is when you first wake up, then wake up a little bit earlier. Study before work. That way, during the work day, you can reflect on and think about what you read. You can practice your retention at that point. Practice what you've retained. Maybe even take little notes. I did this too. I took little notes on my the little index cards, and I carried them in my pocket, and they got all wrinkled and crumpled up. But during the day, I whipped it out and I kind of just went over some of the stuff that I studied. Right? I used to do that with the Goetic spirits. I used to write down. That's how I was able to memorize them. I wrote down the sigil and what their abilities were and all their little correspondences, and I would study one or two or whatever I was working with throughout the day. That's how I kept in contact with the Goetias. But anyways, if your peak is at the end of the day, then as soon as you get off, First thing you do is crack open that book, before bed, wind down or whatever, right? If it's the middle of the day, this may be asking a lot for some of y'all. I don't know, but I did it. During your lunch break, go for it. I carried a book with me to work every day. If you guys could ask anybody who I used to work with, they always saw me with my face in a book, whether it was walking to work, in the lunchroom, or walking away. So it's possible. If you want to do that during your lunch, do it. But my point here is to figure out what your peak hours are and maximize those hours. All right? So yeah. These are the first core principles that I really want to relay in dealing with this focus challenge. All right. Um, bear with me because, like I said, this is the first time that I'm doing this, but really I'm just compiling all the different things that I've worked with that have helped me go from, oh, I wish that I could do this, to doing it. Right. And I'm still moving forward into much greater territory. But the thing that has been consistent is measuring myself to manage myself. All right. So figuring out how much I'm able to read, it now made reading books realistic to me. If you're just looking at a book, you're going to see a big rectangular thing with a bunch of pages. But if you go to the end and figure out how many pages are in that book, figure out how much that you can read in an hour, boom, you know when you're going to finish that book. Now it's about sitting your ass down and getting it done. You got this focus challenge right now as an excuse to sit down and get it done. You're used to being here with me for like 8, 12, 15. At one point, we went 20 hours. All right, you're used to being here with me. So we're going to wrap this up and make this short. So for the rest of the time, maybe even 2 hours, how about we pick one of those books that we chose and try out that Pomodoro technique? I would highly recommend you do that. Matter of fact, do that. As soon as we wrap up this video, grab your book and try out one of the Pomodoro techniques. 25 minutes of study, 5-minute break, or 50 minutes of study, 10-minute break. All right. Get a pen and a paper, right? If you got to get yourself a journal for this, that will be even better for you because, like I said, what is measured is managed. So get that journal and write down today, Pomodoro. This is what I did. Pomodoro technique, block 1, 12 pages. Block 2, 11 pages. Block 3, 15 pages, right? Track yourself, track your progress. That is how you're going to see where you are. And that is how you're going to get to where you want to be, by tracking this progress. None of this is beneath you or too elementary or too basic. This all has a purpose. First of all, you attack all your submodalities, right? Because you're able to see where you are with your numbers. You're able to get kinesthetic with it and write it down. You're able to hear it if you're talking to yourself, like I do, and some of us other crazy people do. Engage with this work. This is called doing the work. Engage with it. And when I say engage with it, I mean put all your senses into it. Look at it. Talk to yourself so you can hear it. Write shit down. Take notes. Highlight. What I do is I take my little yellow highlighter. I love these things right here. These little gel highlighters, right? And I when I'm reading a book and I see something really important, we'll get into retention a little bit later. Right now, this is just about making your schedule and learning about your peak. But as far as retention goes, I highlight the little pieces of info that stand out to me as, yo, this is important to know and memorize by heart. So what I do is, oh yeah, this is another good one. When it comes to the next session or the next day, I don't just dive into the reading. I take time to start back at the beginning and review my notes. Or in this case, go back to the beginning and review everything I highlighted. Because if you think about it, when the author wrote a book, this is a long stream of thought. It's like a conversation. Now, if you're reading just a piece here and a piece there, you're not getting the full continuity that the author intended. Now, the best way to make up for that I found is I do my little highlighting. And at each session when I read, the first thing I do is I review everything. Now that gives me a lot of context to continue this conversation with the author. All right. So that's another great tip. Get you some of these gel point highlighters and do that. If you don't have any highlighters, that's not an excuse to not read. Don't let nothing be an excuse that you can't continue. Oh, I don't know what book Pick one. You got books that you collect. If you followed me on social media, I guarantee you got several books at this point. I guarantee you done bought one, two, or all 600 of the books that I advertised, right? Pick one, pick two, right? Pick two. This is only for a few weeks. You're not giving up everything in life. This is called focus. This is called one pointed concentration, dharana, right? So pick two books that you're going to dig into, right? Pick two topics that you want to learn more about with this challenge. That means drop the rest of them and just focus on two. You can pick them up later. I promise you can. But right now, you want to develop a routine of consistency, right? So visualize what you want out of this, right? Do you want to actually get some of these books read? Let that be your goal. Do you want to get better at being an entrepreneur? Do you want to get better at being a cook? Do you want to get better at, you know, you do some MMA stuff? I don't know. If you, whatever you want to get better at, make that your goal. And then realize that if you don't follow this routine that you're creating for yourself, you're not going to get there, right? If you're a person that is motivated by what you're not going to get, think about that goal that you're setting right now and understand that if you don't commit to this routine that you're building today, you're never going to get there. Now, if you're somebody that is a towards person who's motivated by achieving the result, visualize that end result, that outcome, and understand that if you follow this plan that you're building for yourself, if you follow it, you're going to get there in no time. Bruh, 2 books in a month. Come on now. When was the last time you read 2 books in a month? When was the last time that you completed a book? How long did it take? Right? This is easy, man. This is simple. This is doable. You just got to commit to doing it. So making that schedule and sticking to it is going to get you there. This is going to get you there. Everything that I talked about right now in this little 37-minute video is going to get you there. And this is just the beginning. We got more. But I want you to start now. This is your homework for after this video. This is your homework. Do the Pomodoro technique. Whether it's the 25 minutes of study, 5-minute break, or 50 minutes and 10-minute break, do the Pomodoro technique. You can go to YouTube right after this video and type in Pomodoro technique. The ones that I like to listen to are the Harry Potter ones, right? I don't care if you think I'm a nerd because I know I am. They got the Harry Potter ones. I might end up making some more in the future, whatever. But do the Pomodoro technique. Number 2 is while you're doing that technique, you are going to want to analyze and calculate how many pages you're able to get done. All right. How many pages do you finish in that time frame? Track that, calculate that. Now you're able to see how much you can read in a month's time. Now you can see how quickly you can finish that book. And then, of course, number 3, analyze your peak hours. What are your peak hours? What are your peak hours? And maximize them. Are your peak hours in the beginning of the day when you wake up? Maximize that. Are your peak hours in the middle of the day? Maximize that. Are your peak hours at the end of the day? Like homegirl in the chat. I gotta scroll up to get your name. Like Saucia Seer. All right. Analyze what they are, maximize them. So again, Pomodoro technique, figure out how many pages you read in an hour, find your peak hours. All right. This is gonna get you started. Trust me. Don't trust me. Try it. Try it. I dare you. A double dog, raw dog, triple dog, dare you. Try it and see the results for yourself. All right. So that is my first bit of advice for this focus challenge. All right. I want to see results. Better yet, let me know how many pages you're able to read in an hour. If you want to let me know on Instagram, do it. If you want to do it in the Facebook group, hell, I might make a new Facebook group just for this focus challenge, which I probably should do. But let me know just as an act of, what do you call it? Accountability for yourself. How much do you read an hour? Right? So do this and let me know. Society Ejects, I appreciate you. Thank you for the donation. Silent Shadow Whisperers, welcome aboard. Now, even though we're doing this, I still want y'all to know that May the 30th, we're going to be back at the book study like we usually do on Talk with Shooty, right? We're going to be back at it. So a lot of you are choosing this as your book of choice. That's a great idea. What I would certainly recommend is supplementary books to Talk with Shooty would definitely be Samkhya Darshan. All right, that would be a great supplementary book. And also the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. That would be a great supplementary book to get the philosophy down. But yeah, that's coming soon. All right, so that's what I got. Does anybody have any questions or comments or anything that they'd like to ask about what was mentioned, right? As far as the study stuff, is there anything that you feel like I didn't cover in regards to finding your peak time? Alora asked about the Pomodoro technique in the chat, so I'm gonna spell it. Pomodoro technique, right there. Yeah, I'm just gonna give a few moments to let you guys comment if you have any questions or whatever. And you don't stop. So yeah, it's getting real. It's getting really real. Hmm. Jamal P. Greetings. Brandy Sherpa. Greetings. Duma Ken Rez. Greetings. R.O. Sally. Peace. Bonsi N. Greetings, greetings. Nathan Large. Peace, peace. Who loves orange soda? I'm a educated. Okay. All right, all right. Facts, facts. IDK DKDF. Greetings, bro. Julie Voinovich. Much love. Eva Waski. Greetings. Stray Panther. What's good, bro? What's good? Mo B. Good to see you. Chidinma. Greetings, greetings. All right. Wow. This is truly this is a great day, man. This is a great day. It's a great time to be alive. Here's another thing, y'all. Be grateful. Be grateful. 80%, 80% of success is psychological. 20% is, what you're actually doing. But 80 of it is psychological. You got to be able to see life in such a way that you're not looking at problems that stop you. Whenever there's something that's a challenge, be grateful, right? Be grateful and try to find the opportunity in that challenge. If you develop a mindset that is able to be like water and flow around difficulty like that, you're going to get so much more accomplished, because someone can easily look at a book and be like, oh, that's too big, I can't do it. But if you're able to break it down in a digestible way, appreciating what you've already got and utilizing that, you're going to go so much further, right? Instead of trying to fit a one size fits all solution, if you break down how you actually are and just work with your strengths, you can do it. So be grateful, be happy, like approach this thing with excitement. This is wonderful. Readers are leaders. I stole that from Jim Quick. He said, readers are leaders. And it's true. It's true. Because by studying, you're pulling in so much more information from other people who have accomplished things that only adds to your framework. In neurosemantics, we call that modeling, being able to see how a successful person goes through life and applying that to our own state of thinking. And if you model the right people long enough, you begin to adapt what they do and apply it to your life, and you begin to get more results. So keep growing, keep growing, keep growing, keep growing. And this is one of those ways to do it, by dedicating a small amount of your day. 2 hours ain't even, is barely 10% of your day. dedicating that little bit of time to bettering yourself, to investing in yourself, and to getting more done. Ay, ay, ay. My peak is in the morning. I'm more energized, ready to conquer the day. Same. Larry says, I work 70 days a week. I've been keeping a book and a notepad overhead. It's working great. Awesome. Awesome. And wherever you want to be, see it clearly, have that vision, and understand that it's going to take steps to get there. And if you're able to calculate the steps that it's going to take to get there, now you got something manageable. It may not happen next week, right? A lot of people went out and bought that money magic book, but it's more than just doing spells about money. You got to have a plan. Now, if you don't know how to have a plan, make that part of your goal, figuring out how to get a plan, right? Because here's my thing. You want to start with a clearly envisioned end result. If you don't have that, you don't have anything. Have a clearly envisioned end result. And then you want to work step by step backwards, piece by piece. What's it going to take? So to have this end goal, what does it take just before that? If the end goal is a wooden chair carved nicely, what do you have to have before that? I got to have wood and the skills to build that chair. How do I get wood? Well, that's easy. How do I get the skills to build that chair? Well, I need to learn. Who do I need to learn from? Somebody knows how to do it. Boom. How do I find someone who knows how to do it? Boom. You know what I'm saying? Go step by step backwards so that you have a manageable game plan. Yes, yes. Moby says, I'm starting Tot with Shooty right now. Excellent choice. All right, what's good, Gerald Sombright? K Queen City. Greetings, greetings. All right, y'all. All right, so I'm excited. I'm focused. It looks like from the chat, a lot of you guys are too. Great. Keep this inspiration, keep this motivation. I'm going to be delivering more of it as we go. Um, yeah, if you haven't already, go ahead and sign up in the link that I posted in the description here. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. But basically, keep up with this. Keep up with this. We're all going to feel that high burst right now, and then it's going to decline. But the important thing is to lock on to that high burst and what causes it. And during that decline, refer back to it. That's how you keep that momentum going. This is all about momentum. How many things have you started and it was cool and great for the first couple of days and then it dropped and then you gave up and did something else? We don't want to go that route. You know that's coming because it's human nature. But what we're going to do here is we're going to understand that we have tools and techniques now to hold on to when that fall begins. So it's not a complete drop. It may be a lull, but we're able to stay motivated, right? Because you know what you're doing. If the road is clear, it's a no-brainer. Now all it takes is for you to just stay on the path, right? So that's what I'm really trying to get down to right here in the beginning is clarity. Know where you want to go, know how to get there, right? With that being there in the forefront, when that low dip begins, you still got a game plan. You still know that you're reading 12 pages an hour. You still know that it's going to take 2 weeks to finish this book. You can't really get bored. You can't really, fall off the wagon if you understand what to do. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and close it up. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. All right. I appreciate you guys. I have great expectations and hopes for all of you because if you committed to doing this, you're going to succeed. Why? Because you got the best teacher in the world for this. All right. So as long as you're here, as long as you're doing the work, as long as you're putting in the effort, you're going to get it done. Right. Come June, come Tot with Shooty book study, you're going to have at least 2 books done. You hear me? You're going to have at least 2 books read. Right. If you follow what I mentioned just now and what I'm going to mention in the next couple of videos. All right. So find your peak hours, calculate how much you read in an hour, work from there. All right. So again, get at me with however pages you're able to read in that time frame. Come back here next Sunday because we're gonna do this again. And yeah, stay tuned. Stay tuned. We got so much more on the way. Success, results, tangible results, not just feel good talking and shit like that. Actual results. I'm not here to just boost you up just so you can come back here. No, I'm here to boost you up so you can get work done. I keep saying do the work, right? So do the work. That's what separates us from them. They don't do the work. They talk about the work. They post cool pictures. They post pictures of their books that, guess what? They not reading. But we're different here. We actually study. We actually practice what we study. We're actually doing the work. We're actually transforming ourselves. We are changing from being basic to being extraordinary, right? With results that prove that. All right. So stay on track, stay on board. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Mages, here with LVX777. I love you guys. Stay tuned. Peace.